lap feature. Top 2 redraw starting spots 1 through 10. Green in the air. Jordan Ryan with the lead out of turn 2. Henry Melkert in that second spot. The 19's battling for third. Paige Polyak takes it out of turn 4. Joe Myers Jr. into the 4th position. Dan McCarron run the bottom of the racetrack in 5th. DJ Luce in 6th. Jerry Dobbs, Robert Robinoff completing the field. Here comes the 19 of Joe Myers Jr. into the 3rd spot. The California teenager up into that 3rd position, trying to get into the 2nd spot for a guaranteed redraw. Otherwise, he might have to revert back to his time and hope he's one of the 2 fastest qualifiers to get that redraw. Cross sticks go in the air. Halfway home, heat race number 1. Been all Jordan Ryan, Henry Melkert in 2nd. Joe Myers Jr. 3rd. Paige Polyak, the 4th and final transfer spot. Joe Myers reeling in Henry Melkert for that runner-up position. Moves within 3 car lengths down the backstretch. Dives it into 3 and 4. Trying to execute the slider. They almost touch in turn 4. Myers right back in his tire tracks in 1 and 2. He'll diamond off the corner in turn 2. He'll get a run on him to the inside, but he slips off the banking down the backstretch. White flag in the air one more time around. Jordan Ryan, Henry Melkert, Joe Myers Jr., Paige Polyak, your top 4. Out of turn number 4, taking the Crown Battery Heat Race win, going to be Jordan Ryan. Henry Melkert in 2nd, Joe Myers Jr. 3rd. Paige Polyak, the final transfer spot. Dan McCarron 5th, 6th, DJ Foose, Jerry Dobbs, and Robert Robinoff complete the field. Top 4 moving to the 9th main, finishing 4th, Lady Lightning. Paige Polyak, 3rd, going to go to Joe Myers Jr. Eligible for the redraw, 2nd to Henry Melkert. Make some noise for the winner of your Crown Battery Heat Race number 1 out of Bellevue, Ohio. How about it for Jordan Ryan? Lights out on the speedway for Heat Race number 2. 8 laps, top 4 to the A. Nate Dussel, side-by-side wing to wing. Well, this is really coming back. They get a better start here in turn 4. Side-by-side, wing-to-wing, green out. Cody Brewer leads the charge in the 1 and 2. Nate Dussel going to go to the cushion. Going to try to diamond off. Takes a look to the inside of Brewer now in the 3 and 4 for the lead. Nate Dussel slides up in front of Cody Brewer. Corners off the turn 4 exit. They go side-by-side. Seth Sabo in that 3rd spot. While the top 2 battle for the lead, he's caught him down the backstretch. Nate Dussel into the lead. Cody Brewer tries to fight back to the inside. Here comes Seth Sabo. TJ Michael in that final transfer spot. Larry Kingsley Jr., Stuart Brubaker, Brandon Moore round out the field. Slider for that 2nd spot. Moves Seth Sabo into position number 2. Cody Brewer fights back, though, does the slider in 1 and 2. They go side-by-side down the backstretch. Pulling away out front is Nate Dussel. Cross sticks halfway home. Larry Kingsley Jr. putting the pressure on TJ Michael for that final transfer spot. Nate Dussel flying out front, his lead. 1.7 seconds. That's Sable comfortably in 2nd. Cody Brewer in the third spot. TJ Michael fourth. Larry Kingsey Jr., Stuart Brubaker, Brandon Moore. Brewer slides off the racetrack down the backstretch, still maintains that third position as the white flag goes in the air. Nate Dussel down the backstretch one final time on cruise control through turns 3 and 4. He will take the Terry Hendricks Ford of Archibald Heat Race wins as Sabo second. Cody Brewer in third. Final transfer, TJ Michael. Fifth going to go to Larry Kingsey Jr., Stuart Brubaker, sixth, seventh, Brandon Moore. Turn 4, green flag in the air. Trey Jacobs going to go down to the bottom of the racetrack. Sean Rahal on the outside. Oh, almost contact with Bryce Lucius. They rub tires down the backstretch. They go 3 wide for the lead. Trey Jacobs leads lap 1. Sean Rahal in second. Here comes Cap Henry. Big run. Tries to go 2 for 1 and 1 and 2. 3-car battle for that runner-up spot. Sean Rahal, Bryce Lucius. Big slider. They touch in turn 4 again. Sean Rahal got into Cap Henry. The car bounced around, and he's going to stop on the backstretch. Two complete laps in, 6 to go. Spins in turn 2. He collects the 14 of Sean Rahal. Green back out. Trey Jacobs goes to the high side of 1 and 2. Here comes Cap Henry down to the inside. Trey Jacobs maintains the lead over Cap Henry. Bryce Lucius, good race for that final transfer spot. The rookie Tyler Sheets, the 97 of Tyler Rankin. And the 6J of Jonah Ahmed. Once again from the tail up to the final transfer spot, Tyler Rankin. Here comes Tyler Sheets, the rookie looking impressive. In the 10TS, races to the inside of Rankin. He's bumped that wing clear to the back of the race car. It's been all Trey Jacobs and the family-owned 3J pulling away now from Cap Henry and Bryce Lucius. White flag in the air one more time around. Checker flag in the air for Trey Jacobs. Cap Henry in second, Bryce Lucius third. Tyler Rankin, the final transfer spot. Tyler Sheets in fifth. Jonah Ahmed round out the field. So your top 4. Cole Duncan in Mike McGee Motorsports, first time out that team in 2025. Here comes Brian Sabino, wants to run in 3 and 4. Cole Duncan will lead lap 1 over Brian Sabino, Sterling Klink, Chris Andrews, your top 4. Cole Duncan, multi-time Atomic Speedway champion, former Ohio Sprint Car Series champion, former Fast Series champion. Chris Berta gonna pull onto the racetrack and stop. Single file pass at Truckworks Ohio, restart cone. Sabino goes down the bottom, can't get the pass completed. Cole Duncan maintains that advantage down the backstretch. Sabito in second. Chris Andrews, big slider for that third spot. He'll take it in turn 4. Sterling Kling back to the final transfer spot. Mitch Harbaugh from the tail, looking racy in the 15. Here comes Kling down the inside of Chris Andrews. Slider for that third spot again. Andrews back to 4th, and Mitch Harbaugh right on their rear bumper. Returning the slide job in 1 and 2 for Chris Andrews. Kling going to come back to 3 and 4 and repeat. Rinse and repeat once again. Meanwhile, the top 2 have pulled away, but Chris Andrews, Sterling Kling putting on a slide job clinic for that 3rd position. Kling and Andrews. Meanwhile, Cole Duncan has a 2-second advantage as he races to the white flag over Brian Sabito. Kling now solidifies that 3rd spot. Andrews right there, though, knocking on the door at 4th, and Mitch Harbaugh not out of it yet in the 5th spot. Out of turn number 4, taking the Engler Machine and Tool Heat Race win, going to be Cole Duncan. Brian Sabito will come home 2nd, 3rd to Sterling Kling. Final transfer spot to Chris Andrews. 5th to Mitch Harbaugh. Tanner Checo 6th, 7th, Chris Verda. First of 3 heats for the Fremont Fencing Guardrail 305, set to go green. Out of turn number 4. Jamie Miller down the bottom of the racetrack to grab the lead, but here comes Paul Weaver with a head of steam in the 1W. Logan Reel, fastest qualifier in this heat, already into the 3rd spot, looks for 2nd. Out of turn number 4, drag race to the sticks. Logan Reel into the 2nd spot. Problems for Randy Rubel in turn 4 to bring out the caution. Green out once again. Jamie Miller again on the bottom. Paul Weaver to the top. Takes a peek to the outside. Miller down the backstretch. Logan Reel right back into the 3rd spot already. He looks for 2nd. He gets sideways. Oh, hang on. Oh, hard into the fence. Heldon Miller. Logan Reel tried to spin out. Got right in front of everybody. Everybody scattered. Heldon Miller nowhere to go. Hard contact with the front stretch wall. Green out. Jamie Miller to the bottom of the racetrack. This time Paul Weaver tries to follow in his tire track, slides up the racetrack, opens the door for the 36 of Seth Schneider. Jamie Miller pulling away now from Paul Weaver. Seth Schneider race for the final transfer spot. Austin Black in the 78, Randy Rubel in the 63. Randy Rubel to the inside of Austin Black, takes that final transfer spot. Black fights back to the outside. Meanwhile, the top 3 string out down the backstretch. Jamie Miller, Paul Weaver, Seth Schneider, top 2 redraw for starting spots 1 through 8 in tonight's feature event. Jamie Miller in control of this one. Paul Weaver 2nd, Seth Schneider 3rd. Randy Rubel has solidified that 4th and final transfer spot. Austin Black, James Sam Lee Summers complete the field. White flag in the air for Jamie Miller. Miller through turns 3 and 4. He will take the Crown Battery Heat Race win. 2nd going to go to Paul Weaver. 3rd, Seth Schneider. Final transfer to Randy Rubel. Austin Black, Lee Summers, James Sam round out the field. So, welcome on a group pace truck to the infield. That gentleman on the flag stand is in charge of our track maintenance. Done a heck of a job. Here we go. Green out, heat race number 2. Dustin Stroop takes the lead into 1 and 2. Bradley Bateson in second. Here comes Dustin Dinan in the 6th. Big run to the outside of Bateson. He'll take the runner-up spot. Tucked right in behind the rear bumper of Dustin Stroop. Bateson in 3rd. Casey Zebo 4th. Zach Kramer the 5th and final transfer spot. In that number 13M on the move, as is Logan Monjou in the 3M. 4-car battle for the 4th and 5th spot. Bradley Bateson back to the inside of Dustin Dinan for the runner-up position as Dustin Stroop pulls away out front. Zach Kramer to the inside of Casey Zebo takes the 4th spot down the backstretch. Zebo on the bubble now. Cross flags in the air. 4 in, 4 to go. Logan Monjou spins in turn 2 to bring out the caution flag. In. Dustin Stroop out front. Dustin Dinan in second. Bradley Bateson 3rd. Zach Kramer 4th. Casey Zebo the final transfer spot. Here comes Daniel Hoffman in the 09. Big run. Dustin Stroop continues to lead. Dustin Dinan, though, not giving up. 2 car lengths back in the 3 and 4 as they race to the white flag. Down the backstretch one final time, pulling away now. Dustin Stroop will take the Rio Custom Fabrication and Chassis Repair heat race win. Dustin Dinan in second. Bradley Bateson 3rd. Zach Kramer 4th. Casey Zebo the final transfer spot. Daniel Hoffman in 6th. Morrow 7th. Logan Monjou and Trevor St. Clair complete the field. Green out for your 3rd and final heat race for the Fremont Fence 305 sprints. Steve Watts takes command down the backstretch. Steve Rando in 2nd. John Ivey 3rd. Brendan Torok, Blaine Keckler side by side for the 4th spot, and here comes Jimmy McGrath Jr. in the 5 Junior. Steve Watts continues to lead. John Ivey, Steve Rando, Brendan Torok, Blaine Keckler, your top 5. Cross sticks signifying halfway home, 3rd and final heat race, and it's been all Steve Watts, John Ivey as they pull away from Steve Rando, who's got a birthday coming up in about a week and a half. So happy birthday to Steve, since we won't be racing around his birthday other than the Brad Doty Classic. 305 won't be here. So happy birthday, Steve Rando. Steve Watts, John Ivey, Steve Rando, Brendan Torok, Blake Keckler, your top 5. Dylan Watson, Jimmy McGrath Jr., Braden Harrison complete the field. White flag in the air for Steve Watts. Dylan Watson takes a peek to the inside of Blaine Keckler for that final transfer spot. So checkered flag falls for Steve Watts, John Ivey, Steve Rando, Brendan Torok, and Blaine Keckler. Wow. Kester to the outside. Kester, Boris side by side. Kester leads by a tenth of a second that time, less than a tenth of a second that time by. Boris down to the inside, Kester up top. Behind them, side by side for the third spot. Dave Hornicle down the bottom, Kyle Moore up top. Wesley Morrison gets a shot in the shorts from the 29 of Nate Potts as they battle for the final transfer position. Moore's slide job. In turns 3 and 4. He'll regain this one. Good race up front. Mike Boris, Kyle Moore. And we got a parking lot turn 4. Hang on. Or turn 2, excuse me. Wesley Morrison, the 21. Nate Potts in the 29. They were battling for that final transfer spot. Stretch. Now the race is for second. Steve Kester and Kyle Moore. Moore into the runner-up spot. Here comes Kester down to his inside. Dave Hornicle runs in fourth. Wesley Morrison, that final transfer spot. Austin Gibson and Tom Denzinger. Slides up the racetrack in 1 and 2, opens the door for Kyle Moore. Moore going to go to the cushion in 3 and 4. Boris down to the inside of the track, slides up for the block. They touch fenders down the front chute. Moore down to the inside of Boris this time in 1 and 2. Side by side exiting turn 2 for the lead. The white flag is in the air. There goes Kyle Moore right back to the cushion in 3 and 4. Gets a big run to the outside, takes the lead. Boris back to second. Steve Kester third, Dave Hornicle fourth, Wesley Morrison that final transfer spot. Checkered flag in the air for the perfect engine parts heat race number 1. Gonna go to Kyle Moore. Mike Morrison second, Steve Kester third, Dave Hornicle fourth. Final transfer spot to Wesley Morrison. Austin Gibson 6th, Nate Potts 7th, Chester Pitch 8th, Tom Denninger 7th, excuse me. Green out. John Miller, Matt Miller into turns 1 and 2. Matt Miller, former Dream winner at Eldora Speedway with the advantage. Here comes flying Ryan Markham. We're going to go 3 wide in the 3. John Miller backs out of it. Matt Miller leads lap 1 over. Ryan Markham, John Miller, Colin Shipley, Kent Brewer, your top 5. Markham slides up the racetrack, opens the door now for John Miller for that runner-up spot, and now here comes Colin Shipley. 3-car battle for the runner-up position as Matt Miller pulls away. Ryan Markham, John Miller, Colin Shipley. Shipley into the third spot. Kent Brewer once in on this fun, and the 28 car goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Challenges John Miller for the 4th spot down the backstretch. Cross flags go in the air, 4 in, 4 to go. Matt Miller, Ryan Markham pulls within 2 or 3 car lengths. Hang on, John Miller slides up the racetrack, brings it back in. He'll fall back to the final transfer spot. On the move, the 22 of Dominic De Niro from the tail. Matt Miller, Ryan Markham, Colin Shipley, Kent Brewer, nose to tail down the backstretch. Shipley takes a peek to the inside of Ryan Markham for that runner-up spot. He'll dive down into the inside slider in turns 3 and 4 for the runner-up position as they race to the white flag. Matt Miller out front. Ryan Markham returns the favor in 1 and 2. Shipley diamonds off the corner into the second spot. Checkered flag in the air. Who's it going to be out of turn 4? Give it to Matt Miller. Colin Shipley finishes second, third. Ryan Markham, fourth. Kent Brewer, final transfer spot to John Miller. Dominic De Niro, sixth. The rookie Dylan Jensen, seventh. Doug Baird, Cody Truman, who spins in turn 4, completes the field. 8 laps, top 5. Transfer to Knight's 25-lap K-Main. Green is out. Casey Noonan with the advantage in the 1 and 2. Devin Shields to the inside of Noonan for the lead. Devin Shields has looked fast all year, had mechanical issues leading races, in contention to win races, winless at Attica. In 2025, he's got wins at Oakshade Raceway over in Wasion, Ohio, though. Noonan holding him off for the lead. Here comes Greg Haskell rallying. We go 3 wide out of turn 4. Casey Noonan, Devin Shields, Greg Haskell. Behind them, Ryan Missler, Jeff Warnick side by side for that 4th spot. New leader out of turn 4, Devin Shields. Noonan, Haskell right there as well. Here comes Haskell the inside of Noonan for the 2nd spot. Noonan fights back to the outside. Ryan Missler's caught that lead trio. As the cross flags go in the air, 4 in, 4 to go. Devin Shields pulling away now from Greg Haskell. Ryan Missler now into the 3rd spot. Noonan 4th, but he's getting a challenge now from Jeff Warnick in the 74. Here comes Missler to the inside of Haskell for that runner-up spot. He'll take it down the backstretch. .3-second lead for Devin Shields as he races to the white flag one more time around. Missler in 2nd, trying to hold off Greg Haskell. Jeff Warnick now in the 4th spot. Casey Noonan in the 5th and final transfer position. Through turns 3 and 4, one final time, taking the Auto Kineton heat race win. Going to be Devin Shields. Here's the race for 2nd. Ryan Missler, Greg Haskell in 3rd, Jeff Warnick 4th, Casey Noonan 5th. Dan McCarron, Larry Kingseed Jr. Dan McCarron into the lead, but here comes Kingseed. Stretch. Mitch Harbaugh into the 3rd spot. DJ Foose in 4th. Tyler Sheets 5th. Stuart Brubaker the 6th and final transfer position. Sean Rahal, problems. Dan McCarron out front. Larry Kingseed Jr. in 2nd. Mitch Harbaugh 3rd. DJ Foose 4th. Battle for 5th. Sean Rahal and Stuart Brubaker. Cross flags go in the air. Halfway home. Northwest Ohio Propane B main. Dan McCarron, Larry Kingseed Jr. pulled away from Mitch Harbaugh comfortably in 3rd. DJ Foose in 4th. Harbaugh off the high side of the backstretch and opens the door for Foose to the outside in 3 and 4. Behind them, Sean Rahal, Stuart Brubaker battling. For the lead, Kingseed, slider in 1 and 2. Crossover move for Dan McCarron back to the point. Foose to the outside of Mitch Harbaugh takes the 3rd spot. Comes Kingsey, big run to the outside. Diamonds off the corner in 4. Slider in 1 and 2 for the lead again. Again, Dan McCarron. Diamonds off in turn 2 to regain the lead. White flag in the air for Dan McCarron, Larry Kingsey, DJ Foose, Mitch Harbaugh, Sean Rahal, and Stuart Brubaker. Out of turn number 4, taking the B-main wing, going to be Dan McCarron, 2nd. Larry Kingsey Jr., 3rd. DJ Foose, 4th. Mitch Harbaugh, 5th. Sean Rahal, final transfer to Stuart Brubaker, 7th. Tyler Sheets, 8th. Brandon Moore, 9th. Tanner Tecco, 10th. Jonah Alman, 11th. Chris Berta. Green out. Lee Summers, Daniel Huffman side by side in turns 1 and 2. Dylan Watson into the 3rd spot. Jimmy McGrath Jr. 4th. Lee Summers leads lap 1 over Daniel Huffman, Dylan Watson, Jimmy McGrath, and Cale Maurer, your top 5. Lee Summers pulling away from Daniel Huffman comfortably in 2nd. Dylan Watson in 3rd. Battle for the 4th spot. Jimmy McGrath Jr. and Cale Maurer. Now Logan Monjou going to challenge Jimmy McGrath for that final transfer spot. Cross flags in the air. 5 in, 5 to go. Lee Summers out front of this one. 3 laps to go. Racing to the white flag, Lee Summers. Daniel Huffman, yellow. Green back out, 2-lap dash to the finish of this one. White flag in the air, out of turn 4 for Lee Summers. The race for that final transfer spot. Jimmy McGrath has it. Braden Harrison wants it down the backstretch. Checker flag in the air for Lee Summers. 2nd, Daniel Huffman 3rd, Dylan Watson 4th, Logan Monjou in the final transfer to Jimmy McGrath Jr. Braden Harrison 6th, James Sand 7th. Green out for the final B main of the evening, 10 laps, top 5. Move on to tonight's A. Gibson, Dominic De Niro side by side down the backstretch. Austin Gibson, your leader. Dominic De Niro in that 2nd spot. Clint Kaufman in 3rd. Steve Sable 4th. Dylan Jensen, your top 5. Dominic De Niro, the outside of Austin Gibson, down the backstretch for the lead. They go side by side in the 3 and 4. Gibson maintains that lead. Here comes De Niro again to the outside. and Gibson still side by side for the lead. Clint Coffin comfortably in third. Steve Sabo in fourth. Dylan Jensen, that final transfer spot. He's got company from Nate Potts and Nick Cox. Dominic De Niro takes the lead down the front stretch. Austin Gibson in second. Here comes the 2C of Clint Kaufman. Gibson now back into the lead. Big move in the 3 and 4. Clint Kaufman in the second. De Niro back to third. Sabo in fourth. The battle of the final transfer spot. Dylan Jensen and Nate Potts go side by side. White flag in the air. Clint Kaufman around Austin Gibson. Here comes Dominic De Niro and Steve Sabo. Checkered flag in the air for Clint Kaufman. Austin Gibson in second. Steve Sabo third. Dominic De Niro fourth. Final transfer to Dylan Jensen. Make some noise, Attica Raceway! Ballman Group pace truck to the infield. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls at Attica Raceway Park, it's time to get dirty for 30! Trey Jacobs slingshots in the lead down the backstretch. Here comes Cap Henry to the inside and Cole Duncan for the second spot. Trey Jacobs leads lap one over Cap Henry, Cole Duncan, Jordan Ryan, and Bryce Lucius. Trey Jacobs, high side of the racetrack, continues the lead. Cap Henry, Cole Duncan, Bryce Lucius, now Nate Dussel into the top five. Behind them, Seth Schneider around Jordan Ryan. Trey Jacobs continues the lead, but here comes Cap Henry racing to his inside. Henry pulls within 2 car lengths down the backstretch, going to dive into the bottom of turns 3 and 4, excuse me. Battle for the lead. Again down to the inside. 5 laps in the book. Slider new leader. Cap Henry, Trey Jacobs. Here comes Cole Duncan closing in on the top 2. 4th, Bryce Lucius 5th. Nate Dussel 6th. Seth Sabo 7th. Joe Myers Jr. 8th. The 70 of Henry Melquist. 9th, Jordan Ryan and 10th, TJ Michael. Lap 7 to go in the books for Cap Henry, looking for his 5th win of the season here at Attica Raceway Park. Oh, up the high side of 3 and 4. Yellow, 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 right in front of your leaders. Single file past that Truck Works Ohio restart cone. Hammer drop, good restart for Cap Henry. He pulls away from the field down the backstretch. The race is for that 3rd spot. 3 wide for 4th. Move Bryce Lucius up to 3rd. Cole Duncan back to 4th. Nate Dussel 5th. Here comes Seth Sabo around Dussel for the 5th spot. 9 laps in. turn 4, gets another great restart for Cap Henry. Likes that bottom side of turns 1 and 2. Trey Jacobs up on the cushion. They string out down the backstretch. Cap Henry still in control. Trey Jacobs now comfortably in second. Bryce Lucius in third. Cole Duncan fourth. Zeth Sabo your top 5. Problems on the front stretch. The 19 of TJ Michael and the 21 of Larry Kingsey Jr. Drops down off the banking once again. That's his signature on these restarts. Green back out. We will right down the bottom in 1 and 2. Trey Jacobs pulling away in second. Race for third. Bryce Lucius. Cole Duncan and Zeth Sabo 3 wide. Cap Henry pulling away from Trey Jacobs. Bryce Lucius. Good race behind them. Cole Duncan, Zeth Sabo. The lead 1.1 second. That time by for Cap Henry. He will catch the back of the pack here in another 2 or 3 laps. There's the cross flags halfway home. Races now for second. Trey Jacobs and Bryce Lucius. Lucius takes a peek to the inside of Jacobs. Lap traffic ahead. For Cap Henry, he's going to have to go to the high side of the racetrack. Into lap traffic, they race. Cars racing side by side in front of your leader. Slider for second for Bryce Lucius. Crossover move for Trey Jacobs. Henry trying to be patient with the lap cars. 10 laps to go. His lead 1.3 seconds. Bryce Lucius into second. Cap Henry, big move out 2 lap cars down the front stretch. Cap Henry, 3 lap cars separating him and second place Bryce Lucius. Lucius picks off 2 of them down the backstretch. 7 laps to go for Cap Henry. Henry's lead, 1.3 seconds. Bryce Lucius is on the move. Bryce Lucius chopped 2/10 off the lead. That time by, he has cleared the lap cars. Your top 2 down the backstretch. 5 laps to go. Here comes Bryce Lucius. The lead down to half a second. 4 car lengths the lead. Henry mired in heavy lap traffic. Bryce Lucius head of steam down the backstretch. Takes a peek to the inside of Cap Henry. 3 laps to go. Two to go. Cap Henry, Bryce still 0.5 of a second. Henry a little better in turn 2 than Lucius. The white flag will be in the air. Cap Henry, Bryce Lucius, Trey Jacobs in 3rd, Cole Duncan 4th, Zasebo 5th. Here we go, final lap, final 2 turns. Lucius to the cushion, Cap Henry slides up and cross over. Bryce Lucius! Bryce Lucius by 0.037 seconds. 0.03 of a second. Last corner, last lap, pass for the win. Going up top, make some noise for Bryce Lucius. 0.037 seconds. That's not even blinking your eye, man.
Oh, I don't even know what to say. That's Drew, my dad, Brian, my mom, Kyle. Everyone had me good all night. I really could go anywhere I needed to. Well, I knew I'd have to wait till lap traffic. I messed up a couple laps before and let them get back away from me. But entering 3, I just pulled the wing back and never lifted, basically. Thank you.
Well, that's how you got to do it. What a year you're having in this 32 car. You've come into your own. It's not like you've been doing this a long time. You know, this is only, your 3rd year behind the wheel of a 410 sprint car, but you look like a veteran out there getting through traffic.
Yeah, that's luckily enough. Cap wasn't able to get by the lap cars that were ahead of us as they were running where we needed to. So I just can't thank everybody enough on this car. Tyson and Susan Oakman, I'm sure they're watching back home and pumped. Integrity Auto Sales too, Truckworks of Ohio, and everyone else that helps out on this thing to get us here to the racetrack. That was cool.
That was cool. Best seat in the house. One more time for Bryce Lucius. Make some noise, Attica Raceway Park. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Attica Raceway Park, it's time to jump and jive for 25. Mike Boer's going to lead the charge out of turn 2. Greg Haskell in 2nd. Colin Shipley, Kyle Moore, side by side for that 3rd spot. Continues to lead Greg Haskell, Kyle Moore in the 3rd, Colin Shipley 4th, Devin Shields your top 5. For the lead, Greg Haskell down to the inside of Mike Boris. Side by side in the 3 and 4. New leader out of turn 4. And here comes Kyle Moore. Moore looking to make it 3 in a row. Moves to the inside of Mike Boris for that runner-up spot. Greg Haskell looking for his first career win at Attica Raceway Park. Move Kyle Moore in the 2nd. Boris back to 3rd. Colin Shipley 4th. Devin Shields in the 5th spot. 6th. Matt Miller 7th. Ryan Missler 8th. Ryan Markham 9th. Steve Kester and Kent Brewer your top 10. Another handful of laps, they will catch lap traffic. They cross the stripe this time, 6 laps in. Top 3, nose to tail down the backstretch. Greg Haskell continues to lead. Kyle Moore, Mike Boris, Colin Shipley, Devin Shields, and Matt Miller. Good race for that 7th spot. Ryan Missler, Ryan Markham, Steve Kester. 8 laps in. Here comes Kyle Moore closing the gap quickly on Greg Haskell. Race is for the 5th spot. Matt Miller to the inside of Devin Shields. Haskell going to have to do something. The lap cars are running his groove down on the bottom of the racetrack. Lap cars scattered all over the racetrack right in front of your leaders. 10 laps in. Here comes Kyle Moore on the high side, ripping the lip. Great battle for the 4th spot. Colin Shipley, Matt Miller, Devin Shields. Lap cars side by side right in front of your leader. Greg Haskell. Into lap traffic flies your leader, Greg Haskell. Kyle Moore in 2nd. Mike Boris trying to rally into 15B. 4th, Colin Shipley. 5th now to Matt Miller. Races for 4th match. There's Colin Shipley, Matt Miller. The lead for Greg Haskell, 0.8 of a second that time by. Here comes Kyle Moore again to the high side of the racetrack. 10 laps to go. Big run out of turn 4. Moore better in 3 and 4. Haskell better in 1 and 2. Mike Boris has caught that lead duo. Throw a blanket on the top 3 out of turn 4 with 9 laps to go. Shields hung up on a lap car. The lap car cuts him off in 3 and 4. Gets around the 11. He's got a little bit of clear track now. 7 laps to go. Here comes Kyle Moore to the high side. Gonna diamond off the bottom of turn 2 to the rear deck lid of Greg Haskell. Gonna go to the cushion in 3 and 4. Big run, cut off again. Colin Shipley now into the 4th spot, 5 flanges go in the air, 5 to go. Here comes Kyle Moore again. Move Ryan Missler into the top 5. A lap car lies ahead, 4 laps to go. Once he clears Steve Sabo, he's still got clear space. 3 laps to go for Greg Haskell. Here comes Kyle Moore again. Moore going to go up to the middle groove. Diamond off the corner in turn 2. To the rear bumper, Haskell down the backstretch. Right to the cushion goes Kyle Moore. 2 laps to go. Could we have another last lap pass? They race to the white flag. One more time around. Greg Haskell. Kyle Moore stumbles a little bit on the cushion there. Moore's got one last shot. Greg Haskell, 2 left-hand turns. Right to the bottom of the racetrack. Moore up to the cushion. A monster run on the high side. Stumbles on the cushion. Greg Haskell gets it done. climbing out of the car. Make some noise. First time winner at Attica for Greg Haskell. I don't have to speak French Canadian or anything, do I? No, I don't have to. It's about damn time.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing on the backstretch. I didn't even know where to go. I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? And I thought it might have been the longest last 5 laps of my life. I'll tell you that much. I was waiting for Devin or Kyle to go flying around the outside again. Like, where are those guys?
They were there. Kyle was right there. He looked at you a couple times, especially in 3 and 4, coming off the high side. You kept your cool, kept your marks. How does this feel? You've been coming to Attica for several years, every week, and finally on the horse track.
Yeah, well, I saw Kyle go zipping around the outside, so I knew it didn't have much after the checkered. But I've been coming here for a long time, and I said I'm going to keep coming here until I get a win. And we lost one of our good buddies this past winter from cancer, and this one's definitely for him. But I didn't know if we were ever going to get this win, and the lap car seemed to be everywhere, and I really didn't know what I was doing. I was just letting the car go wherever it wanted to go and hoping it would stick and go. But I can't thank the guys that help on this car, and Sherry and Gary at home, and Devin Moran and Chucky, and then Ty, and then even Devin and Mistler beside me, and Kyle Moore. Like, Kyle Moore's not going to be happy that he told me one of his secrets last week, because I think that really helped. But
what was it?
I can't. He told me not to say, so I'll at least give him that. But I am just so happy. I love this place, and I keep coming back because it was so close. And I'm just happy I finally got one, and now I can come back, and hopefully they start flowing like they're nothing.
Greg Haskell, for the first time in the United States, gets a late model win. What do you say, Attica Raceway Park? Auto Group pace truck to the infield. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Attica Raceway Park, it's showtime! Dustin Stroop for the advantage in 1 and 2. Paul Weaver into the second spot. Seth Schneider, John Ivey, Jamie Miller, and for the third spot. Dustin Stroop, Paul Weaver, John Ivey, Jamie Miller, Seth Schneider, your top 5 down the backstretch. Paul Weaver, a little bit of a challenge now for Dustin Stroop. John Ivey trying to hold off Jamie Miller. String out down the backstretch. Dustin Stroop stretching his legs a little bit over Paul Weaver. John Ivey reeling in Weaver a little bit now. Steve Rando spins in turn 4 to bring out the caution with 4 laps in. Still a long way to go with this one. Single file past that truck works Ohio. Restart Chrome Green back out. Comes Jamie Miller to the outside of John Ivey for third. Looks to make it 2 for 1. They'll go from 4th to 2nd in turns 3 and 4. Oh, big crash in turn number 1 and 2. Casey Zebo, Blaine Keckler involved. One off the high side of turn 4. Jamie Miller gets really good restarts on the high side of 1 and 2. Let's see what he does here. Up into the 3rd spot. Started 6. Hammer drop, green out. Weaver going to go up the block. Here comes Jamie Miller to the inside of Paul Weaver for that runner-up spot. He'll take it out of turn 4. back into the second spot. Dustin Stroop liking this as he pulls away. Dustin Stroop leads Jamie Miller now, 6th to 2nd. Paul Weaver, 3rd. John Ivey, 4th. Seth Schneider, 5th. 6th. Dustin Dinan, 7th. Bradley Bateson, 8th. Steve Watts, 9th. Zach Kramer in 10th. Randy Rubel, hammer drop. Green out. Keep an eye on the 5 junior. Jimmy McGrath started 20th in this one. He is up to 11th. For the lead out of turn 4. Dustin Stroop, Jamie Miller. Nose to tail down the backstretch. Stroop goes down to the bottom of the block. 10 laps in. Miller gets a big run off the high side of turn 2. Gonna duck into the bottom of turns 3 and 4. Can't get the slide job done. Dustin Stroop maintains the lead. Here comes Miller again. Big run on the high side of turn 2. Stroop goes up the block, opens that bottom side, goes down to chop him off. Out of turn 4 for the lead. Dustin Stroop by 3/1000ths of a second that lap by. Miller to the high side. Stroop going to slide up in front of him. Crossover move out of turns 3 and 4. Jamie Miller by a nose that time. Miller off the racetrack, back on. Opens the door for Stroop. A slider in 3 and 4. Crossover move again. Jamie Miller, Dustin Stroop, nose to tail, lap traffic ahead. Here's a flyer in 3 and 4 for Dustin Stroop. With 10 laps to go, they are side by side. Miller by 1/100th of a second that lap by. That allows Paul Weaver to close. 9 laps to go. Keckler making a charge after being involved in an early race incident up through the pack. Miller pulling away now. His lead a tick under a second. But lap traffic lies ahead. Dustin Stroop staying within striking distance. That time by, Dustin Stroop took 0.2 of a second off the lead of Jamie Miller. The lap car separates the top 2. Miller pulls away slightly down the backstretch now. Stroop clears the lap car. 5 laps to go. Jamie Miller continues to lead. His lead back up to 1.4 seconds. Heavy lap traffic though ahead for Jamie Miller. 3 laps to go. Jamie Miller off the racetrack, back on. Dustin Stroop closing. Heavy lap traffic racing side by side in front of Jamie Miller. The lead under a second as they race to the white flag. Lap cars racing side. Oh, Dustin Stroop spins in turn 4. 50th overall win here at Attica Raceway Park. Hammer dropped out of turn 4, green back out. Miller down the bottom to guard. Dustin Dine the outside to Seth Schneider for that 4 spot. White flag in the air out of turn 4. Dustin Dine the outside of John Ivy for the 3rd spot. Checkered flag in the air for the 5th time this season here at Attica for Jamie Miller. Paul Weaver 2nd. Dustin Diamond in 3rd. 4th, John Ivy. And 5th, Seth Schneider. 10th overall for 2025. His 50th overall career win at Attica Raceway Park puts him 4th on the all-time track win list. Out of the car, make some noise for Jamie Miller. Well, we're just in the first part of July, and you got 10 overall wins. Unreal.
Yeah, what a year. I can't believe we've been running that strong. Been good all year. Car's working good. Motor's running strong. And we've had a couple nights here and there where we've missed a little bit in qualifying, but we've been regrouping at the end of the night and having some good fortune ending up on the horse track here.
5 wins here, Attica, your 50th career win. Puts you 4th on the all-time win list. You got a ways to go catch Paul Weaver, but still, I mean, he's been doing this a lot longer than you.
Hey, as long as we're still doing it and having fun, who gives a shit about any of that stuff?
There you go. Jamie Miller gets it done to wrap it up on Fan Appreciation Night. Thank you, all you race fans, for coming out and packing the stands.